Hello, Luke from Korg here. I'm at the Gear4music studios and we're looking at the Volca Modular. So as you know, at Korg, we have lots of different Volcas on the market now. This is the latest edition and it's very different actually from what we've done before. So we're going now into a kind of journey into modular synthesis. So modular is very different from, say, subtractive synthesis. Some of the terminology is different. It's a different type of synthesis using West Coast synthesis as opposed to East Coast. So we have different terminology, sometimes different layout, and obviously this is a semi-modular synth. So that means it's pre-patched, which means we can get sound out of it straight away. But then when we start using the patch cables, we can start rerouting in really interesting ways. And as you can see, there are lots of different patch points on the top panel there. Just like our other Volcas, 16-step sequencer, runs on batteries, has its own speaker. You can connect it via sync, so the timing of the sequencer will sync to other Volcas and other Korg equipment and external other manufacturers' equipment as well. So let's dive in and just take you through what's going on the panel here. So this is your oscillator section. You've got two triangle waves. So then you can modulate one into the other to do frequency modulation. So there's our triangle wave. We can play it via this chromatic keyboard here. You've got lots of different scales as well you can set it to. So I've got things like folding. So that's like wave shaping, basically. So it'll fold the wave back on itself and add extra harmonics. You can also modulate one triangle wave into the other to get this sort of effect. And then what the ratio is basically the pitch of that second oscillator. So you have a 4-octave sweep there, so you can either use it as a sub-oscillator like that, have them in unison, or 2 octaves above, or anywhere in between. So that's the oscillator section, and as you can see, you've got inputs and outputs in that section for all the different parameters we've been looking at, including outputs for both waves, so you can actually send them in their pure form without them being modulated to another source. Then you've got your functions. So the functions, there's two of them, and the first one is pre-patched, if you like. So you have an attack and a release. And what's really nice is that when you're using a particular control, it's lit up. So you can see these two are lit, and this one as well. That means I'm using those controls. If I change the attack, now that one's lit. So this second function here we'll touch on in a moment, but that's not actually active at the moment. We're not hearing that. We've also got two LPGs, they're called. So they're like filters. So we've got the first one there, again pre-patched. So that's the cutoff. And then we've got this really nice effect at the end, like a spacey reverb kind of sound. So you can use it just a little bit, or you can completely drown the sound in that reverb, which gives you that really, it's almost like a spring reverb sound. So you can easily kill that, have it dry, or bring a little bit in. Then you also have some other functions on here, things like split, so you can combine signals or split signals. Obviously you've got CV in, so you can connect it to external modular equipment. And you've got this little matrix here where you can mix signals together and then use this knob as a send effectively for different signals. And then that's the output there of that. So let's now show you how some of the patching works. So you get all these amazing little patch cables included, and you can just start patching. So what I'm going to do is use this second function here, and I'm actually going to take the output and send it back into the input. So that effectively loops it back on itself. So we've now created effectively an LFO, which we can then send to any destination in the Volca Modular. So you just take the output and then put it into, say, one of these sources. And now you can see that's pulsing at the rate that this is set at. So we've now got some motion to our sound. And as you can hear, you can change the shape, whether it's quite a harsh attack or a softer. And you can also change the rate, of course. You can also send it then to, say, the modulation. Or even the pitch. So you can get some really interesting evolving sounds by using that. What you also have on here is, again, something that's called Waggle. So you subtractive synth guys out there, you might recognize this more as like sample and hold. And you have two outputs here. One is a smooth wave and the other one is a stepped wave. And it's basically random noise generator. So you can go out, let's get a longer cable actually. So you can go out of here and then you can go anywhere you want. So let's just go into the pitch so you can hear what's going on. So if you play sequence, it's just triggering a random pitch in that case each time. Or if we want to do it here, that's a smoother waveform. So while we're talking about the sequencer, you heard it there. Let's play it back. So it works in the same way that the other Volca sequencers do, 16 steps, but you have a couple of extra things here which are quite interesting. For a start, you've got bounce. So if you engage that, what it does is it plays back the sequence and then bounces back on itself. And then you also have stock, which will do stuff like on every step it'll randomize which way it's going to go. And of course we have motion sequencing, so if we've got our sequence going, all you do is literally hit record your motion in, and then it's there in the sequence. So as you can hear, very interesting sounding Volca and very different from all of our other range. What's good is that we provide this card for you. So what this has is a few basic patches to get you started. Obviously all the patch cables come included. And then on the back of the card, you've got basically an explanation of all the different modules within the Volca Modular, so you can see where everything is routed to. So that's really useful. So there we go. So for more information on the Volca Modular or any other Korg product, go to the Gear4music website. Thanks for watching.